This is a message from the Lord, so don't blame me.
It's what you like.
It's like what he said. Matthew chapter 5, verse 33 to 37. Still in the Sermon on the Mount. Again, you have heard it said to those of ancient times, you shall not swear falsely, but carry out the oaths you have made to the Lord. But I say to you, do not swear at all, either by heaven, for it is the throne of God, or by earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let your word be yes, yes, or no, no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one. That's it. Simple. I looked at this for a long time and thought, well, what on earth can I do with that? Yeah, let's read it and then say, don't take oaths, don't swear oaths, and just say yes or no. Job done. Right. We'll have more coffee and I will fill it out a little bit for you. In the Old Testament, in olden days, even by Jesus' standards, the Old Testament was ancient times, thousands of years before some of it. They did lots of oaths and swearing by God. I don't mean, when I say swearing, I don't mean bad language, not that kind of swearing, but invoking the power of God or the authority of God onto their words that they were saying, and saying that if I don't do it, then I invoke the wrath of God onto me by the same thing. And they would do it on all sorts of things. I think in some churches they do, in a sort of sense, they do take oaths in the name of Mary, as they call the Mother of God. I'm not going to comment on that this morning. But for the Christian, Jesus is saying an oath should be unnecessary. We don't need them. Because you should always speak truthfully and honestly. I think you don't need to swear an oath. If you did need to swear the oath, it suggests that the point of time when you swear it, that oath, that what I am going to say next is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, then at other times, what you say, is it not the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Are you saying something less than being honest? A Christian should develop that sort of character where we are always honest with each other. What about in court? Have many of you been to court lately?
Well, I'm not going to tell you.
I've been a few times. I've let off. As a witness, I've been in the witness box. And, I was one of the most incredible witnesses. I'm not sure that I was a witness. And I had a choice. I could either swear, put my hand on a Bible and read the card, or I could turn it round and affirm. I can't remember what I did. I think I did affirm on the last time I went, because I thought, well, I endeavour to speak truthfully and honestly all the time. That's just what I want to do. It doesn't always make people happy, though, because people don't always want to know the truth, especially when it gets down to something sensitive and personal or dreadful and awful. So, whether we should swear an oath in court as Christians is something which is debated among Christians, and different conclusions are come to. I read of one police officer who, a lady police officer, who was a Christian, and she had determined that she should not have to swear an oath in court because she always spoke the truth. But then she was told that the jury seemed to believe a police officer more if they did swear an oath in court. So she went along and took the oath, but it was against her better judgment, really, which she wanted to feel credible in front of the jury. But I don't think anyone should feel they've done anything wrong if they do swear an oath in court. We're sometimes put in those situations where we have to think carefully about it. Is it all right not to speak the truth? Are white lies a good idea? Is there such a thing as a white lie? That's something for discussion in the home group. I don't think there are such a thing as white lies. There's truth and untruths. Even if that truth is a bit blunt and a bit unsensitive, I think sometimes we can try and make it sensitive. If someone dies, it's very hard to go up to someone and say, oh, he's dead. Especially if it's a loved one. We tend to want to say something which softens the blow. Is passed on. As long as it's clear what we are saying. I said to someone, I was walking around, a few years ago, I was walking around one of the supermarkets in Skegness and looking lost and forlorn, and someone came up to me and said, are you okay? Yeah, I've lost a wife. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I think she was at the delicatessen, which is not there. When we speak, we reveal what is going on inside our minds and our hearts. On the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. What we're feeling inside comes out. So if we want to speak truthful, honest words, plain words, there's nothing more plain than yes or no. Jesus didn't say dress it up in lots of reasons or anything like that, but develop yourself so that you just say yes or no. Will you do this? Will you take part in that? No. Will you go here and go there with me? Oh, yes. You don't have to explain everything, but it's sometimes nice to do so. If we get our thoughts in order and our feelings under control, then the decisions we make will become more the right ones. How often have we said yes to something and regretted it the next day? How often have we said, I'll do that, because no one else wanted to do it, and the church thought it needed doing? We can end up as being the wrong person in the wrong place, trying to do the wrong thing, and sometimes it's better if it's not done at all. Let them find a different way. Sometimes no is the hardest word to say. You want to please people. You want to please everyone else. You want to be seen as being someone who is willing to do things. And you don't want to let anyone down. You probably recognise the scene where day after day you agree to do this and you agree to do that, and you find at the end of the week you've got more things to do than you've got week to do them in. And you have to then come to a point where you've got to say, oh no, hang on, I can't fit everything in. I haven't got time to sleep and eat. This is, I'm going here and doing that. We need, as Christians, we need to get a balanced life where we know our strengths, we know our weaknesses, we know our limitations. It's about being honest with ourselves. Once you're honest with yourself, you can be honest with others. I can only do what I can do. When someone asks us to do something, we should not reply immediately. Develop thinking about it. I will think about it. I will consider it. Pray about it. Ask God about it. Ask other Christians about it. Ones who have been in the faith longer than you have. Which at my age is difficult to find. Doesn't make me a better Christian because I've been at it longer. I'm still learning it. I'm still learning how to do it. But, yeah, I've been knocking about in the church for longer than a lot of people have lived. So, with its ups and downs. I've said yes to things, and I've said no to things, and I've been wrong. When I tried to help out with the youth group, I know I was wrong. And what's more, they knew I was wrong also. And that quickly came to an end. Not very good with teenagers having tantrums and stuff. Why don't you just sit down and listen to what you're told? Do as you're told and do it. I got better though, because my last job I was working with mainly teenagers with extreme learning disabilities, and I had to do more refereeing than teaching. I learned diplomacy and tactics and things like that. And in the church youth group at the time, no, I wasn't that good. So I should have said no. But it's difficult, especially when you see someone else struggling in the wrong position and you want to go and help them. Someone struggling to do something and want to go and say, I'll come and help you. Nobody else was interested. So if you're being asked to make a commitment, a long-term commitment, the longer the commitment, and the more it's going to take up, the more review it's going to take up, the more thought and prayer you need to put into it. If you make that a rule of life, then your yes can be yes, and your no can be no, and you can stick to it. And people eventually will appreciate that, because you're doing the right thing at the right time for the right reasons. We are not servants of the world. We are not servants of the church. We are God's servants. God's servants to the world and God's servants to the church. So when it comes to making a decision what we do, it's more in the hands of God than in the hands of man. When people of the world come to you and say, oh, you're a Christian, you would do this, wouldn't you? Maybe not. When the minister of the church comes to you and says, look, you're good at doing that, aren't you? You ought to be in this ministry in the church. Your cakes are wonderful. You need to be in the kitchen, don't you, helping out with the tea. I'll put you on the road. Is it all right to put you on the road? Philately. I don't mean stamp collecting. Flattery, isn't it? Philately will get you nowhere. Yeah. We can all be taken up by someone recognising what they think is the gift in us and applying that to jobs that needed doing within the church or the fellowship, or they thought needed doing in the church or the fellowship. And a great weight can be put on you, a great pressure can be put on you to go and do that deed or that role. And God is saying, no, hang on a minute. You're my servant. I decide what role you are to play in the church. I am building the church. I decide what you should be doing. You need to be talking to me. Then we can fulfill this, what Jesus is saying. We can say yes and mean yes, and we can say no and mean no. Anything more than this comes from the evil one. We don't need to go down the route of superstitions, of touching wood, or crossing our fingers, or hoping so, or with a bit of luck it will turn out all right. Because we are God's servants. God will not put on us more work, more jobs than we can manage. God will not put us into situations we can't handle without his power. If God puts us into a difficult situation, he will give us the power and the authority to achieve what he wants us to achieve in that situation. So when God says to us, say yes, go and do it, or my servant, you're going to do it. It might not at the outlook seem like a good thing to be in doing. But God's in control. And it was the right thing to do. God has put Christians into some very difficult positions, and He has brought them through it. Maybe, as it was said, it was a philosopher that says, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And God makes us stronger. He wants to make us stronger. He tests us. Did you know you're tested by God? Why does God test us? Why does God try us? Because God is making something. When I worked in industry, manufacturing, whatever you made was tested. Is it becoming how I want it to be? Has it got the strength, the ability that I want it to have? Does it look right the way I want it? So God tests us. Don't be surprised that you are being tested by God. Consider it pure joy. That's what the Bible said, that you're being tried. Because God is building His church. God wants to build His church. I'm looking around at what God is building His church with. How ambitious is God? How creative is God? I wouldn't have done that. I'd have picked some very nice, obedient Christians who, like, these are nice ladies. I won't mention any names, but, so I won't mention your name. Nice people like that. God wants honesty, truthfulness, and a dedication to Himself. That we can say yes to.